everyone, welcome back to Traveling Petite Girl. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jojo and I like to talk about lifestyle and vlogging. So if you're into that, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, and get started on my tips for planning the new year of 2021. So along with showing you how to plan and make 2021 your best year yet, I'll also be giving you a peek of what's inside the 2021 planner. So here I have the digital version of the 2021 planner, and if you want to hear more on how to plan for the new year, let's get started. So before I like to get started on planning for 2021, I first want to wrap up what 2020 was for me. And what I like to do is do a yearly overview of what I'm most proud of myself for each month of the year. So I'll write down about 1 or 2 things for each month from January to December. That way when I look at everything to wrap up my whole 2020, I see everything that I've accomplished, the things that I'm most proud of myself for. So after that, as another step to wrap up the 2020, I also like to look at these prompts. So questions I like to ask myself is, what worked in 2020 and what didn't work in 2020? What were the most common distractions that I came across, and what were the most common fears and concerns that I held on most to throughout the year? That way, coming forward into 2021, I can look at how to minimize these distractions and how to let go of these fears and concerns. Next up, I'll ask myself, what made me the happiest in the last year? That way I can repeat those things and do it for the next year. Alright, so now it's time to head forward into planning for 2021. Before I start planning for 2021, I like to look at my 5-year goal. So basically looking at where I want to be 5 years from now and looking at what I'd want to accomplish a year before that, and then a year before that, a year before that, until 2021. And this is the time to really think of your most wild ideas. Even though they seem impossible, it's time to write them down. Then after looking at my 5-year vision and looking what I wrote for 2021, I can finally break down those goals for 2021 into 4 goals. So the reason why I choose 4 main goals is because I like to work on each goal as a project for a quarter of the year. Then after figuring out what those 4 goals are, I like to think of my word of the year, like my possibility or the one big word that I want to channel when fulfilling out these goals. And then for each goal, I can go ahead and head over into the goal planner and start breaking down each goal. So what I like to write is my why. Like, why do I want to achieve this goal, and what difference would it make in my life if I were to achieve it? And then of course a start to end date. And then a little reward so I have something to look forward to after I complete it. And then I break down my goal into 4 main milestones. And I like to break down each milestone into 3 smaller doable steps. And in the goal planner, there's a total of 12 doable steps, meaning it's 1 doable step per week. So that makes it like a total of 12 weeks, which is about a quarter of the year. And then once I write down those doable steps, I can go ahead and copy and paste what I wrote into my monthly layouts and into my weekly layouts. And then from there, I can break down those doable steps into even smaller steps, like smaller tasks. Basically, the whole practice is just constantly breaking it down, and breaking it down. That way it's easier for me to keep track of my progress. I don't get too overwhelmed because the steps are too big, and it's doable. The keyword is doable. And then after I think of my 4 main goals, there's obviously a lot of other things I want to accomplish in my life, maybe my personal life, for personal development, or just some new skills I want to learn. So I'll go ahead and write them down in this other layout that I have. And then the last thing I do for setting my goals is to write something encouraging for myself, because when you're trying to turn your wild ideas into real life, it's going to be hard. It's going to be fun, but there's also going to be some difficult times, and you want to make sure that you check in with yourself and have something to read and something encouraging. So after planning out my goals, I can go ahead and plan out the rest of my year. So a few things I like to do is to write down the important dates that I don't want to forget, maybe some doctor appointments, some cat checkups that I have for my kittens, and then I'll write them down into this layout I made specifically to write important dates for each month. Next up, I have this page called 2021 at a glance, kind of like what I talked about in wrapping up your 2020, looking at things that I'm most proud of for each month. This is what this page looks like for me. It's called 2021 at a glance, and I just fill in the box with 1 or 2 things of what I'm really proud of accomplishing or really proud of doing for myself, or just anything that was a highlight of my month. Next up is the 2021 bucket list. So what are the things I want to do or accomplish in 2021. What are books I want to read, movies I want to watch, places I want to travel to, COVID permitting, and all that other stuff. And then after I planned out that year, I can go ahead and get started with planning January. So in my monthly layout here, I have this thing in the upper right corner called this month's focus. So whatever I write here is going to be the focus for that month. So in here in the bottom, you'll see master goals and master to-dos. So basically, what are my goals for the month to accomplish? Maybe it's something that I wrote into my goal planner, and then I'm copying and pasting it here to make sure I accomplish it for January. And then after I write what those goals and to-dos are, I can arrange them into each week of January, whether it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So for each week, I like to write what the focus is for that week. I always have a focus. So maybe your focus can be anything like focus on career or focus on relationships this week, or it could be something different like being more present to people. So what I like to do is write my top 3 priorities for that week. I feel like for me, if I write more than 3, I'm going to lose focus and not be able to accomplish everything. After that, I like to write down the task and to-do list I like to do for that week. Maybe it's to do the laundry. And then, of course, I like to write what my habits are for that week. So I feel like a good way to build on good habits is to use a habit tracker. So I make sure to have one for each week. That way, whenever I complete those habits, I can go ahead and check it off my box and see when the last time I did that habit or if I've been doing it every day. And then of course on the right, you can see my plans for the rest of the week. And then come the January highlights. So what I like to do in order to keep myself present and to just keep myself grounded is to write down what the highlight of my day was. So in your monthly highlights, like this month for January, I can just write maybe what made me happiest that day or what stood out the most to me that day, and write it down just like 1 sentence each for each day. And then of course I write what I'm proud of myself for. So in here I made sure it had its own page so you can fill it up with everything that you're proud of yourself for, big and small. And then of course the next wrap up, like what worked, what didn't work, distractions I came across, how can I minimize them, fears and concerns I held on to, how can I let them go, and if I'm on track to my goals that year. And then an extra box if you want to write anything else. And then these monthly layouts are the same from January all the way to December. And because this is digital, I can go all the way and press on the tabs to each month. And when I go to each month, I can go directly and press one of these buttons, like go head over to March week 2 or go to March highlights and see what I wrote there. That way it's just easy to navigate around. I think that's just one of the things I love most about having a digital planner. It's just easy to find the pages you need. So when it comes to writing down my ideas, I like to have space to write my notes. So in here I have layouts and just like empty pages for notes, and you can duplicate these pages as many times as you need to, but there's already 10 that are empty for you. And then of course I'm a total list person. If you can't tell, there's a lot of lists here already in this planner. But sometimes I just want to write anything that's in my mind. Maybe I have my business wish list, my personal wish list, or gifts that I want to buy for family. And then the cover page is I am capable of achieving my goals and living out my dreams. It's actually the same quote I have over here. It's a quote that's like very important to me, and sometimes you just get into a rut and you need some affirmations to remind yourself that you can do these things. So if you're interested in the Traveling Petite Girl 2021 planner, it's both digital and printable, and you can go ahead and get it from Etsy. It's digital, you can use it on both Apple and Android tablets. And if you prefer to have your planner physical, I also made a printable version that you can print out on US letter size. The planner is dated for 2021 and it's a Monday start, so every week starts on a Monday. It's about 148 pages long and there are hyperlinks. So if you are using the digital version, it's going to be so easy and such a breeze to navigate around to all the pages. If you're interested in the planner or want more of a sneak peek, you can go ahead and check out the link below. There will be pictures and more details there. So that's how I'm planning my 2021 and hopefully making my best year yet. It's gonna be. Let me know how you're planning your 2021. I'd love to know in the comments below. And if you have any questions about planning, go ahead and write that down below too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a few things about planning your 2021 and making it your best year ever. My name is Jojo and I love to talk about blogging, and I also like to talk about things to do in your everyday life to live your best life. And I also like to talk about things to do to thrive in your everyday life. If that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to my channel. I also have a free resource library that you can sign up for. All links and the details will be in the next clip. Aside from that, I'm really excited for this year, for 2021, and I hope you are too. And I hope you have your best year yet. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!